Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
It was just about 11 months ago that the Chicago Cubs won their first World Series in 108 years as they won Game 7 in Cleveland, Ohio on November 2nd to clinch the title. Tonight in Washington, D.C., they'll take the first step to possibly having back-to-back championships as they play Game 1 of the National League Division Series against the Washington Nationals. The road to a repeat starts tonight in our nation's capital, and we'll get you ready for all the action. We bring you up to first pitch right here on NBC Sports Chicago.
This is Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto Group.
Hello, welcome in to Cubs Pregame Live, presented by our great partners all year long and for many years at the Fields Auto Group. He's David DeJesus, my partner. I'm David Kaplan. For the third year in a row, we get you ready for Cubs playoff baseball. All right, before the season started, most people expected the Cubs to be here in this position. But it's how they got here that had many surprise. And as they shouted in the locker room after the clinching night in the Central in St. Louis, 11 more games. This was a slog. This was tough.
This was a tough up-and-down ride, but this is one of those years where you test your mental fortitude. This has been a team effort, all 25 guys, and there's been other guys that have come up, done good jobs, have gone back down, but now it's 25 guys, like we talk about, pitch by pitch. Don't overlook everything. Just look at that pitch, that at-bat, and then work from there.
It's called one batter, one pitch, one out at a time.
Yep.
It's almost time to get interactive with the show. Get your mobile, laptop, or tablet ready. Head to NBCSportsChicago.com/vote. In just a few minutes, we'll bring you our live fan vote. All right, let's talk about the roster. The news this morning, Cubs finalized their playoff roster at the deadline. As expected, John Lackey is on the 25-man squad for the NLDS. Also making the cut, in somewhat of a surprise, outfielder Leonis Martin and reliever Justin Wilson, who's really struggled, is coming over in a big trade from Detroit with Alex Avila. Not making the cut, though, relievers Justin Grimm and Hector Rondon. Here's Joe Madden on those tough roster decisions.
This is for this round. Hopefully we get to the next round, and then you make maybe other decisions based on the team that you're going to be playing against, or maybe just based on poor performance in this round by somebody you already have out there. So there's different ways to look at it. The big thing is when you have that conversation, whoever you're talking to, just so that they don't shut it down mentally. You can't have them shut it down, because things happen in this series that can be the replacement for somebody that gets hurt.
All right, any surprises for you? I keep hearing from people on Twitter, Justin Wilson made the roster because he struggled with his command so much. You look at the numbers against those lefties, the Murphys and the Harpers and guys like that. Justin Wilson is the right guy in terms of his history.
Yes, I want Justin Wilson out there. You only have two lefties other than Justin Wilson, so having him out there, and just you need a guy that's throwing 95, 97 plus, and just having him throwing that hard against these big-time lefties, he's not going to be facing a lot of righties. He's going to be matched up against Harper or pretty much Daniel Murphy. So those are the two guys he's going to be facing. So you have him throw 95, hit your spots. Maybe he can work through a couple innings and start that confidence-building process that has happened late in the season.
All right, so let me ask you something. You played postseason baseball. Justin Wilson ends the year going, wow, I went from last place, the worst team in baseball, the Tigers, to a team that's trying to do something unbelievable, go back-to-back world championships. No one's done it since the Yankees in 98, 99, 2000. Do you hit the reset button and go, all right, I'm good, we're starting again, or is it still in your mind?
It's in the back of your mind, but now you know that it's something more than just your numbers. During the season, you're worried about how you're doing, you know, what your ERA is and things like that. But now at the end of we're into the postseason. Now it's about winning a World Series. So, all right, let's put that to the side, and now let me go and do my job. Attacking with the fastball. Just get that fastball going. He has a great fastball. It's trusting that fastball to put it where he wants to put it.
It's executing pitches, pitch by pitch.
Yep.
All right, let's go out to our nation's capital. That's where we find the third member of our team. She's been with this team every step of the way and been with us every step of the way. Kelly Crow has our Miller Lite game report.
Hey guys, well, the Cubs' quest to defending their world championship begins tonight here against the Nationals, and Madden's club, who had the best record in the National League in the second half, is as calm and confident as any group. They say they don't have any pressure, but rather just eager to get this series underway, ready to rock, roll, and repeat that magical run from last year. And whether it was last year or the year before that, they say they feel like they've experienced anything the playoffs can throw at them. And it is that experience, they believe, that gives them the slight edge over the Nationals. But as Anthony Rizzo told us, there is one thing in the postseason the Cubs haven't done, and they would like to do.
We've been through pretty much every single scenario you could have, except sweeping a team. We have yet to sweep a team in the playoffs, so hopefully that's this round. That'd be nice. Probably not going to happen because the teams are really good, but we've been through every scenario pretty much in the playoffs, and that's really, you know, you take a lot out of that. You don't panic after one move or one big inning or one bad inning. You just keep going with it. You keep going with the punches. You keep getting up.
Now that the lineups are out, we've been breaking down all the matchups throughout the week. Fans, analysts, everyone weighing in on who has the edge between the Cubs and Nationals, whether it be the offense, the defense, pitching, or managing. But what about the players? I asked a couple of guys what they thought the biggest difference would be down the stretch between these two teams, and here's what they had to say.
A matter of the fundamentals and kind of limiting the mistakes you make. I think that's the biggest thing in the playoffs. And who scores more runs and who gives up less runs. I think that would work too. But really, it's kind of limiting those mistakes and realizing that you don't really have to go out there and try harder. Just let it come to you.
I think you got two very professional lineups. You know, every guy's going to put a good at bat on, especially over there, over here. So we're going to put pressure on the pitchers. There's every pitch is going to be high stress on each pitcher. So I think it's who gets that big hit in that big moment to let the other team kind of exhale for a second and let the pitcher settle in.
Cubs fans saw firsthand last postseason how one big play or one timely hit can really be the difference, and that is certainly not lost on the Cubs, who will look to give themselves an early 1-0 advantage in the NLDS here tonight. And one other interesting note, guys, when it comes to experience, not a single National starter has won a postseason start aside from Max Scherzer, who did it back in 2013 twice. So we'll see what Madden's club can do here tonight against Steven Strasburg. It's going to be a fun one. I'm so excited. October baseball is back from the nation's capital. Let's send it back to you guys.
All right, Kelly, thank you very much. Now time for our Miller Lite Cubs fan poll. To vote, visit NBCSportsChicago.com/vote. You don't need any special app. Just visit that website, get interactive with David and with me. Here's today's question. What area will be most important to the Cubs winning this first round series? Starting pitching, bullpen, offense, defense. I'm voting starting pitching. You've got to see the other series. We're seeing good pitchers. Chris Sale, Corey Kluber today, just getting their doors blown off. Those teams are in big trouble. So you have got to get some length from Lester, obviously Hendricks, and then Quintana.
Yeah, as we watch those games, these starting pitchers have not been sharp. Their off-speed stuff has been hanging, and these offenses are good. These guys are pounding him. So, but I'm going to go on the offensive side. The offense has to come up again. They're facing three studs. So these are number one, number two, number three for the Nationals, and they can compete with any other team in the league. Now it's, can you score on these guys? The mentality has to be a team mentality, grind through at bats, and you want to get to that middle part of their bullpen where they're not as good. Because if they can go from starting pitcher to the end of their bullpen, that's going to be a tough thing for the Cubs to come back from.
Absolutely right. All right, keep voting. We'll update the results throughout the next hour and have the final tally right before first pitch between the Cubs and the Nationals. Time for our bona fide starting pitchers, brought to you by the best Italian beef you'll ever eat, Bona, the original Italian beef. It's Kyle Hendricks for our guys, Steven Strasburg for their guys. 24 starts for Hendricks. Spent a lengthy stint on the DL with some right hand tendonitis in one of his pitching fingers. 24 starts, 7-5, 303 Ernie, which got really good the last 6-7 starts. 139 2/3, so he's fresh. K to walk, 123 to 40, and a whip pretty solid at 1.19. Strasburg was money. 28 starts, 15-4 with a 252, 175 1/3, 204 strikeouts to 47 walks, and a 102 whip. Let's start with Kyle Hendricks. This guy's no stranger to pressure. Everyone say, well, he's going to start the first game of the series. Is that pressure? Look, he clinched the pennant for the first time in 71 years, beating Kershaw at Wrigley last year in Game 6, and then he pitched Game 7. He's ready.
No, there's no bigger game than Game 7 in the World Series. He pitched really well during that game, so this game, it's great for him to get that confidence from his teammates, from his fellow pitchers, to say, hey, you can do this. They were behind him, and he's a guy that's just going to attack with that fastball. 87, if he's going good, 88 miles an hour, but his pitch is that changeup with the arm speed. It's just the same arm speed. You don't see it until late, and next thing you know, you're just dribbling it over right to the pitcher or banging it into the ground for a double play. So being able to spot that fastball where he wants to put it down in the zone and then throw his changeup off that is going to be key, because you'll see all those swings. You want to see those swings today from those Nats hitters.
Over the top of the ball.
Yes, right over top, and just bang it into the ground.
That means he can't be over-amped, throwing harder than he normally does, and he's got to keep the ball down.
That's the key, keeping it down. That makes his changeup work so much better.
All right, let's look at the numbers since the injury, before and after. Okay, 4-3 before with a 4.09. He was okay, like the rest of the team. That World Series hangover, starting your training late because you pitched into November, you took more time. Then look at him in the second half. A 219 Ernie, 3-2, 78 innings, 73 hits. You'll love that ratio. 72-19 K to walk, and 8 home runs. So I really like how he's looked.
Yes, he wasn't sharp. Early in the season, he just wasn't putting pitches where he wanted to put it. Getting behind 2-1, 3-1, and then he has to come over the plate, and that's where hitters do damage against him, when you have to force him back over the middle, because he wants to stay on the edges. So in the second half, when he felt better, he was able to put it where he wanted to, get 0-1, 0-2, and then finish guys with his changeup.
Yeah, the first 2 or 3 starts after he came off the DL, we were seeing him pile up pitch counts of 85, 90 to 100, 4 innings in.
Yep.
And I remember talking to him at the ballpark, and he's like, I'm still trying to get my feel back. But he goes, when I do, pitch counts will come down, I'll go deeper. And that's exactly what he's done.
And Joe Maddon has left him in the game. He's let him go 7 into the 8th inning the last few starts. So that gives him more confidence that I'm not going to get the hook. If I'm struggling here, he's going to let me battle through that. And so Joe Maddon has given Kyle the confidence to pitch deeper into the game.
But managers aren't doing that in the postseason.
Not anymore.
Totally different.
Nope.
All right, back to Strasburg. He's fared pretty well in 5 career starts against the Cubs. 1-1, including a win earlier this season with an ERA barely above 2. He has 41 strikeouts and just 4 walks in 34 2/3 innings. Struck out 13 Cubs in 7 innings in his only start against the team this season. This guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
Real deal. 4-0 in the month of September. Allowed just 3 runs in 32 2/3 and just 1 postseason start on his resume. Is that a problem?
It's just the way it was. He's been injured a lot in his career, but this guy is confident. It's coming into this game. He is a pitcher that, 97 plus, loves to keep it up into the zone. Then he has that sharp curveball that looks up in the zone and then bites down, and it's one of the 12-6 curveballs, that Kershaw type curveballs. But the pitch that has been helping out during this run where he's been untouchable has been the changeup. He's throwing it a lot more, and hitters have a 107 batting average against his changeup lately, and he's throwing it to lefties and righties, where it was exclusively against lefties. So that pitch has made hitters stay back because they couldn't attack the fastball. Now they have to wait back for that changeup, and now the 97 looks like 99 or 100 miles an hour. So that's where that good changeup comes in, is a game changer, because it just keeps hitters off balance.
But if he can't locate the fastball and get to 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, and he's pitching 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, totally different.
That's when the hitters have the advantage, where, all right, hitters can hit 97, 100 miles an hour fastballs, but if they're down in the count, they have to wait back. 2-0, 3-1, we're searching for a fastball out over the plate. That's when you can get Strasburg.
And
That's
you
when
do
he
damage.
gets got.
You attack.
Yeah.
All right, time for the Amita Health Injury Report. And both teams have pitchers struggling with hamstring problems. First, Washington star Max Scherzer. He was hurt last weekend. Today he threw a bullpen session and is slated to throw in Game 3 on Monday night at Wrigley. Meanwhile, Jake Arrieta still feeling the effects of his hamstring injury. He suffered back on Labor Day in Pittsburgh. He gets to start in Game 4 if necessary. Both guys say they're ready to go when they get their chance. Whose injury impacts their team more?
I would say Arrieta's, because Arrieta was going to be the number 1. He was going to start the first game of this DS. So right now, I would say Arrieta's, just because Scherzer is pitching Game 3. That hamstring seems to be not as
severe
a factor as Arrieta's. So like that right there, Scherzer never had that limp off the mound type of thing. He had the little, okay, I'm going to take out, I'm going to be precautious rather than coming out because I can't really walk that good. So it would have to be Arrieta's, because he was dominant. One of the most dominant pitchers the second half of the season.
All right, here is Scherzer's when he felt it, right there. He felt it, and then he wanted to stay in the game, and some of his infielders went, hey, dude, we just saw something. And immediately, you saw Daniel Murphy, get out here. And they came out, and that was it. Done. Scherzer wanted to stay in, being the competitor, the bulldog that he is. And then, of course, as he tightened up, it got a little worse.
Yeah, that was great job by the middle infielders to see that. Because when you're a middle infielder, you're just kind of throwing the ball to first base. You could be not worried about that, but for them to have that, really just the keen sense to really see that and get the pitching coach out there, the trainer out there, because it doesn't matter. That game did not matter at all.
Meant nothing.
Having Scherzer.
Right. His competitive juices are flowing. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Exactly.
No,
Any pitcher
sorry,
want to
dude.
do that.
We got a lot bigger fish to fry. No
doubt.
All right, we got a whole lot more to cover in this hour-long edition of Cubs Pregame Live, presented by the Fields Auto Group. Coming up, we'll break down Joe Maddon's lineup for this evening's ball game, and there's plenty of memorable moments from when these two teams met in the regular season this year. We'll look back at all 7 games. Plus, it's 43 minutes till the start of the ball game. Still time for you to give Felco a call, 866-4FEL-DCO. Be right back.
Cubs Pregame Live is presented by Fields Auto Group. Fields matters because you matter. See Fields first. FieldsAuto.com.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, inviting you to become a member of the Fields family. You also get our free loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
All of it. I've used all of the above. It's amazing. The service is phenomenal.
And with more than 35,000 vehicles sold annually, you can get a great offer like this.
And now lease a new 2017 BMW X3 xDrive 28i for only $419 per month at Fields BMW Northfield.
And Fields matters because you matter.
Fields BMW Northfield. FieldsBMWNorthfield.com.
I don't own the apartment building, but the right out front is mine. And everything inside, like my office, and my library, my studio. I've worked hard to get all of it. And I just
want to be sure it's all protected with auto and renter's insurance. As your State Farm agent, I get it. That's why I'm here.
Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
I like it sweet.
I like it hot.
Red gravy.
Baptize it.
Make it cheesy.
Make it hurt.
North side.
South side.
There's one thing
both sides agree on. Bona beef.
Bona, a Chicago original. The official Italian beef on both sides of town.
This Cubs Injury Report is brought to you by ATI Physical Therapy, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Ask your doctor about ATI Physical Therapy. Get there.
Nationals took the regular season series 4 games to 3, outscoring the Cubs 39-28. A lot of regulars don't miss time in these games, so the teams you see in the field today, totally different than the ones who battled it out earlier this year. Welcome back to Cubs Pregame Live, presented by the Fields Auto Group. Let's take a look back at all 7 regular season matchups between these two teams. And we start with some great defense.
Oh, he caught it! Baez just robbed Bryce Harper. Pop down the left field line. Jay and Baez are over there. The slide, the catch! What a catch by Baez!
Javier Baez showed off some Gold Glove caliber defense in the first meeting between the two teams back on June 26th. Javi also did it with his bat, hitting an RBI double in the top of the ninth to give the Cubs a 5-0 lead. But the Nationals would not quit, scoring 4 times bottom of the ninth. They had the winning run at second when Wade Davis struck out Ryan Zimmerman to end the game. Cubs win 5-4, but things would get really interesting the next evening.
It really sucked because, like the stolen bases go with me. But when you really look at it, the pitcher doesn't give me any time. So it's just like, yeah, okay, Mickey can throw nobody out, yeah, but my pitchers don't hold anybody on it. So it's tough because it doesn't matter how much work I put on, and when I don't play it on full work, throwing and everything, because if I don't get a chance to throw it, I mean, that's the reason why they were running left and right today, because they know he was slow to the plate. Simple as that.
Miguel Montero, former Cub, airing out his grievances after a 6-1 Washington win that featured 7 stolen bases by the home team. Montero blamed Jake Arrieta's slow delivery to the plate as part of the problem. Things could have gotten ugly and divided the locker room, but the Cubs moved swiftly. The next morning, Theo Epstein designated Montero for assignment before the ball game. Nationals made a 2-0 over the Cubs on June 28. John Lackey gave up 8 runs on 9 hits in 5 1/3 innings. Washington starter Steven Strasburg struck out 13 Cubs in 7 innings of work, 8-4 Washington the final. But the biggest memory from this game, Chris Bryant having to leave the contest after stepping awkwardly on third base after fielding a pop-up. He would miss the next 2 ball games.
Out in the right center. Baez will score. La Stella to third. He's going to be sent to the plate. Relay throw. Not in time. Cubs lead. Wow.
Cubs managed the split in the series thanks to a 3-run 9th inning off a then-beleaguered Washington bullpen. John Jay's 2-out double, the game winner. Wade Davis struck out a pair of Nationals hitters on the way to his 16th save of the season. Nationals came to Wrigley beginning of August, and once again, Daniel Murphy killed Cubs pitching. What else is new? He had a pair of home runs in the series opener. This capped a stretch of 10 games at Wrigley when the second baseman, formerly of the Mets, went 20 for 38 with 4 bombs, 4-2 Washington, your final.
In the first, Contreras in the air. Way back. Gone.
Wilson Contreras, one of the hottest hitters in baseball in early August. Game 2 of the series. He homered and drove in 3 runs in a 7-4 Cubs win. Alex Avila, the starting catcher, and hit his first home run with the Northsiders. In the season finale between the two teams, Kyle Schwarber's 6th inning home run gave the Cubs a 4-1 lead. Joe Maddon's crew looked to be on their way to a season series win over Washington. But in the top of the 8th, Carl Edwards Jr. hit Anthony Rendon with the bases loaded. That tied the game, and on the next pitch, Matt Wieters said, I'm going to hit this one in Northbrook. That ball was crushed deep into the center field bleachers. Nationals blow it open and win 9-4. Well, most career postseason home runs in Cubs history. Look who's at the top of the list. Kyle Schwarber, who's only been around 2 years, and you look at it, and it's unbelievable. Rizzo with 5, Bryant with 5, Dexter Fowler, now a Cardinal with 5, Aramis and Alex Gonzalez, the former shortstop, and Addison Russell and Javi each have 3.
That's why Schwarber should be in the lineup, right?
There you go.
That's the reason why he's in there.
He can wreck a game with one swing of the bat.
Yep.
All right, let's check out the Cubs starting lineup, brought to you by Zorn Brew Works. Ben Zobrist batting leadoff and playing right field. He's followed by Bryant, Rizzo, and Contreras. Schwarber gets the start in left. Then Addison Russell, Jason Hayward in center. 15 for 36 in his career against Strasburg. And then Baez and Hendricks. But, Schwarber in there, he can do damage, man.
Yeah, once he steps into the batter's box, he's a problem. You can't miss over the plate because he can drive one out of the park and change the game in one swing. So that's why I was thinking about the lineups before the postseason started. I was like, I want Schwarber in there. Even though John Jay had a great year, he's still the fourth outfielder. Schwarber needs to be in there because that one swing.
All right, and then Jason Hayward, you saw the numbers that our producer Jeff Nelson threw up there. 15 for 36 lifetime against Strasburg, which is surprising because Jason has had his struggles since coming to the Cubs with high velo. Velocity has been a problem. And boy, oh boy, that's as good a velocity as there is in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I don't understand why it works out that way, but when you have confidence and you have success against someone, you're walking into that box with the knowledge in your head that I can do this. I can do damage against you too.
All right. Zobrist in center leading off. He's hit first in 40 games this season. In those contests, slash line of 253, 330, 438. Look, Ben would even tell you, I was banged up this year. I didn't have my best season, but this is the time that he shines, and he's been much better the last 6 weeks.
It's all about health with Ben. He's feeling healthy right now. He's feeling confident. So expect to see a different Ben from during the regular season.
Yeah, last year in the postseason, obviously MVP of the World Series, but he looked like that guy where you go, boy, that's the guy that usually kills the Cubs, and now he is a Cub. That guy gets the big hit in the big spot, makes the right play.
And that's why I like him in the leadoff spot. He's going to have 5 at-bats today, so getting him on in front of Rizzo and Bryant is going to be huge tonight.
All right, then there's the reigning National League MVP, and let's look at his numbers this year compared to last season. While you look at him and go, I don't know, he actually had a higher batting average, scored just a few less runs. You look at the home runs, those are down because of the wrist injury. The RBIs obviously are down. And then you have, in terms of strikeouts, he's cut those from 154 to 128. Walks up from 75 to 95. On base from 385 to 409. The slug from 554. Pretty solid instead at 537, and you look at his WAR, down, but still a really, really good season.
I mean, those numbers, this guy is who he is.
He's a video game guy.
I mean, he's ridiculous what he does each and every year, and the pressure he's had each and every year to do it. He steps up to it, and it didn't look like early on, but he just kept coming, and next thing you know, at the end of the season, his numbers look great.
You know, it's funny, you and I were watching him, and maybe in June, July, when he was still struggling, you said to me, like, boy, this guy was the MVP last year. Where is he just doesn't look right at the plate. And we find out, that the finger that he didn't want to talk about was bothering him more. He just wasn't as completely healthy as he wanted to be. He got hit on the hand with a pitch. But the last 4 or 5 weeks, even you said to me, we're sitting in the green room, you go, now that's the guy I wanted to see. He just looks more locked in.
Exactly. It's something about getting towards the playoffs too. I know that he wanted to lock in before the playoffs, but this time of year, you want to be at your best going into October baseball.
Want to step up at that moment. When we come back, we'll discuss baseball's other superstar who calls Las Vegas his hometown. Bryce Harper, one of the best in the game. But is he at 100% after returning from the disabled list just last week? And still time to vote in our poll question. What area will be most important to the Cubs winning the series? NBCSportsChicago.com/vote. Results are coming up.
Over the last 40 years, you've come to run. Bringing your passion, your determination, 40,000 strong. Filling streets on an inspiring journey through 29 Chicago neighborhoods. Pushed on by millions of cheering fans and countless volunteers. Making Chicago home to the best marathon in the world. Celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Bank of America Chicago Marathon. This Sunday at 7 a.m. on NBC5.
Benny? Benny? Where are you? Benny? 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 Oh, no.
The Great Haircut Sale is back at Great Clips. A price so low, everyone will go. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
I'm Ryan Sandberg, and I've played baseball in the great city Chicago for 17 seasons. Back in the day, I had a lot of hair, and it got to the point where I didn't look like any of those pictures that the fans were bringing up to me. I didn't look like myself in the 80s and the 90s. Didn't know that there was any options. I just went into the office, took it easy. It was like just being at home, and Restore did all the work. The procedure that Restore does, take hair from the back, put it in the front, no pain whatsoever. and it's my own hair. I think having hair has totally regained my confidence. It gives me energy, makes me feel younger. Go to Restore, have a consultation, check it out for yourself. I'm Ryan Sandberg, and I chose Restore.
Call Restore today for your free consultation and get a $500 discount. It may be the first step that changes your life forever. Call 1-800-823-9239 or visit restorehair.com.
He was a freak of nature. I mean, I can't even explain how, like, intimidated I was to watch him just hitting the batting cage. I mean, the sound coming off his bat was something you never hear.
I mean, Chris is a great player. He's been a great player our whole life, so not really worried about him or how he's going to do or anything like that. Always wish him the best, of course.
Did you guys ever go through that I'm better than you stage, even though you were friends and you were always friendly competitors?
He was always better than me, so I didn't have to go through that.
Welcome back to Cubs Pregame Live, presented by the Fields Auto Group. All right, let's talk Bryce Harper. He was actually your teammate. You're a former National.
Yes, he was my guy.
For 4 days. But he was there. He's a great player. He missed 41 games after hyperextending his left knee on August 12th. 3 for 20 his 5 games since returning. He is very lucky that he did not blow an ACL right there.
Yeah.
But this guy's a great player.
I mean, this guy, he's in the race for MVP each and every year. He can do it all. He can throw in the outfield. He runs the bases well, just like Chris Bryant. He doesn't take those base hits. He's running them out. He can swing the bat, hit for power, hit for average. He can do it all. So the thing with the Nats is keeping him healthy. You got to be able to keep him healthy and on the field each and every day.
Here's what Bryce has done against the Cubs the last 2 seasons. Well, you look, 10 for 30. 2016, he was 2 for 15. Batting average of this year, .333. 1 bomb. You saw it off the video board at Wrigley in right field. He's walked 3 times. On-base percentage, .394. Slug of .500. But look at the intentional walks. 4 of those in 16, and I think 3 came in 1 ball game, and Ryan Zimmerman was really struggling, and they pitched around Harper. They walked him 16 times.
Yes, you got to do that sometimes. When guys are hot, if the guy behind him is not hitting, you walk him.
I'm not letting you beat me.
No, I'll let the guy that's struggling beat me.
All right, here's Dusty Baker starting 9, brought to you by Zorn Brewworks. Trey Turner with speed is at the top of that lineup. He missed a lot of time with a broken hand. Bryce Harper, Anthony Rendon, who's a really good player, Daniel Murphy, Ryan Zimmerman, Jason Worth, Matt Wieters, Michael Taylor, and Steven Strasburg. Well, let's talk about Daniel Murphy. He's a Cub killer. He destroyed the Cubs in the 2015 NLCS as a member of the Mets this season. .322 hitter, 23 bombs, 93 knocked in.
This guy's just a pro hitter. He looks like he's on every pitch. He doesn't take too much of a stride. He's ready. He sits back, and he shoots it the other way if it's pitched away. And if you come in on him, he'll turn on you and yank it out. So he doesn't try and do too much of the ball. That's the great thing about him. And he's starting to get his power numbers up the last few years. But he's just a pro hitter. That's just a part of his process. He's not trying to go and hit home runs.
All right, Trey Turner missed nearly 2 months after being hit on the hand by a Pedro Strop pitch. And despite missing all that time, still finished the season with 46 stolen bases. This guy is such a disruptor. It's like Billy Hamilton. You got to keep him off the base path.
That's the thing. You keep him off the base paths, you don't have to worry about it. He wants to steal bases, and the Nats are telling him, if you get on base, you have the green light to go each and every time. So the job today is keep him off the base paths.
All right, Anthony Rendon. Is he as good as Chris Bryant at third? He's certainly as good offensively. .301 average, OPS of .937. And when you think of Harper, Daniel Murphy, Ryan Zimmerman, all that great pitching, Scherzer, Strasburg, and Gio, this guy's numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah, I was a teammate of his, and he just wants to be looked over. He just wants to go play the game and get away from the game. He's a guy that's silent, does not care about the limelight at all, but his numbers are speaking very, very loud.
Yeah, you look, he's got almost as many home runs as Chris. He's a little bit better batting average. He's markedly better this year in RBIs. OBPs are almost identical. The slugs are pretty similar. But you look at those 4 guys, you cannot let them wreck your dreams.
No, it's keep Trey Turner off the bases in front of them and pitch cautiously around those guys. Don't get to two. Don't fall behind on them because you're going to have to come over the middle of the plate. That's when they do their
Home
damage.
runs have got to be solo shots.
Exactly.
All right, for more on tonight's game, let's head out to the nation's capital and bring in Patrick Mooney. He is our CSN insider. All right, Moons, let's talk about what you're hearing from this team. The lineup has Schwarber in it. Some thought John Jay would lead off, but as David and I both said, we like him in that fourth outfielder pinch hitter role. What do you like about this lineup or not like?
Yeah, Cap, I think you guys nailed it. That Joe Madden said power plays at this time of the year, you're really looking just for one swing from Schwarber, who's already this October legend. If they grab a lead, you saw him do this 2 years ago in that wild card game in Pittsburgh. You take Kyle out and kind of go defense first late in the game. And, you know, Ben Zobrist, we all know he had a tough year. That wrist injury really, I think, was far worse than he let on initially. It lingered for a long time. I think he said it took him until game 156 until he finally felt right. But I don't know how you can begin a playoff series and not put your World Series MVP in that lineup. You know, between him and Dexter, they totally kind of changed the dynamic of how they just grind it out every single at bat. They saw a ton of pitches, and I think that's why you have to have Zobrist in there tonight, trying to set a tone against a really good Nationals team.
Talk about Max Scherzer, because this guy would have been pitching tonight, certainly would have gone tomorrow. So they have, there are people saying, well, they're still going to get Scherzer and Strasburg 3 of the 5 games, so there's really no advantage. And I disagree, and I think David's with me on this. You could have taken a stranglehold on a series running Scherzer and Strasburg out in your building. Instead, you don't get both guys in your building to start the series. What are you really hearing on Scherzer? Is he a guarantee in Game 3? Because some people I'm following out there in Washington are telling me it's not 100%.
Well, Cap, I think your instincts are right on this. I think the Nationals have been kind of slow playing this, a little coy. Scherzer saying things like, I'll pitch this NLDS, and maybe because it's so fresh in our minds. And we all saw what happened to Jake Arrieta on Labor Day in Pittsburgh and the way he hobbled off the mound and how it wasn't that cramped that they hoped it was. And then maybe it was a little more than just that strain that they kind of dismissed. And it took a while. It took 2 starts, and even then we weren't sure what we would get out of Jake in the NLDS. Today I asked Joe Madden. He said that Jake is fine, honestly, that he expects him to be ready to go Game 4, that he, unless something happens between now and then, he doesn't really see anything that should hold Jake back. But with both these power pitches, we know how important the right leg is, where they push off, where they generate all that velocity and movement. It really starts kind of with that right leg. And so even if Scherzer starts Game 3, and I think we're kind of at a point where you kind of have to believe it when you see it, I don't know if we're going to get that Cy Young Award winner, and he's going to have to find it the way Jake came out of that start in St. Louis in the last week of the season, saying, I had to adjust some stuff with my mechanics. I'm not 100%, and we don't know if either guy will be for the rest of this year.
He's going to be in center. He has not been there yet this year, with the exception of a little spot duty last weekend, but he's a Gold Glove outfielder. Do you believe, from what you're hearing around there from Jason, that this is a big deal, or is too much being made that he's moving 75 feet over to his right?
No, I mean, when you're one of the best defenders of your generation, I don't think it's that huge a deal. I mean, I remember hearing when John Lester came in for his recruiting pitch, and they kind of laid out what the lineup would look like in 2016. They had Jason Hayward's name in center field for that slide and the big elaborate PowerPoint presentation they did in the Lester recruiting pitch. So I think they're comfortable with that. And when you kind of factor in all these other things that we've been talking about here, about why you want Schwarber in there, why you need Zobrist at the top of your lineup, I think it's a very small concession that you kind of have to make knowing that you want to set the tone here in Washington and maybe kind of get in their heads in a bit. If they can steal a game one, all of a sudden the anxiety level in Washington and a Nationals team that has a lot to lose will have a lot on their minds heading into game two.
Patrick, thanks for the knowledge. We'll read all your stuff at NBCSportsChicago.com. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's check in on our poll question. What area will be most important to the Cubs winning the series? Go to NBCSportsChicago.com and you can still vote. Again, NBCSports.com/vote. All right, we look at the numbers right there. No surprise right now, starting pitching still winning.
Yeah, still starting pitching. Throughout the playoffs right now, it's starting pitchers have been up and down. You have the teams that have been winning ball games have had good starts, getting the starters going deep into the 6th, 7th inning.
Correct, like we saw with the Astros.
Yes.
All right, if the first few games of the postseason have been any indication, the role of the bullpen takes on extra importance. We'll make a call to the pen to discuss who has an advantage once the starters depart when we return.
Everyone loves a dinner party until it's time for the cleanup. With the Bosch dishwasher, you'll make short work of even the largest piles of post-party dishes. With the innovative My Way rack, which offers the industry's largest third rack capacity without losing space on the lower racks, lets you get more dishes cleaned per load. And Bosch is America's quietest dishwasher brand, so you won't even know it's running in the background. See the complete lineup of Bosch dishwashers at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936.
Here's a sorry pass for Kane right in.
Wherever you are, you're there. The NBC Sports app, your home for live streaming coverage of the Blackhawks, all connected by Xfinity.
This is the original light beer. And 40 years later, we still brew it the same way. Because when you get something right, you don't mess with it. Miller Lite. Hold true.
I don't own the apartment building, but the right out front is mine. And everything inside, like my office, and my library, my studio. I worked hard to get all of it. And I just
want to be sure it's all protected with auto and renter's insurance. As your State Farm agent, I get it. That's why I'm here.
Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Trick or treat yourself to huge savings at Schaumburg Honda Automobiles during Bob's Gone Batty sales event.
Lease a brand new Honda Accord sedan for only $179 a month, or a brand new Honda Civic sedan for just $159 a month.
Be sure to see us before you buy.
Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Honda Automobiles, just 8 blocks west of Woodfield Mall on Gulf Road in Schaumburg.
All right, let's take a look at the numbers here. The lowest ERA post-All-Star break, minimum 10 starts, going all the way back to 1933. Jake Arrieta, number 1. Steven Strasburg, number 2. You look at some of the names on there, some you've never heard of. I have no idea who Spud Chandler is. Chris Medlin was a Brave and ended up blowing out. Then there's some of the best in the game right there when you look at Roger Clemens, Tom Seaver, Bob Gibson, and even back in his day, the great Johan Santana.
I could not, that was, if someone says, name a lefty that you did not want to face, it was Johan Santana. That guy was dominant with the fastball changeup. That's 2 pitches.
He was your kryptonite.
Yes, could not. I was swinging at pitches not even close to the zone.
All right,
so.
Welcome back. Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto Group, rolls on. Nationals bullpen really bad early in the season. I mean, really bad. But then they made some moves with GM Mike Rizzo to improve that squad. You take a look at the numbers. Sean Doolittle comes over from Oakland. They get Ryan Madsen. They get Brandon Kinsler. And all 3 guys have stabilized the pen.
Yes, they blew 13 saves before these guys came over. And since, it's been they blew only 4 saves. So these guys have come in, have done their job, and they get through their inning, they go on to the next guy. So they have a team aspect, team mindset going, and it gives confidence to the hitters as well. Know that, hey, we did our job, we got a lead, we know we're gonna win the ball game.
And Doolittle's been really, really good for them. A lot of teams tried to chase him, and the Nationals had a really good farm system able to procure him. Wade Davis, really, really good this year. I'm talking about outstanding. But if he doesn't pitch in a lot of situations in this series, you're either blowing them out or more likely you're losing.
Yeah, you want him in as much as you can. You've built his arm up to get sometimes 2-inning saves, so you need to be able to get to Carl Edwards and Wade Davis because those are the two guys you trust the most at the end of the season.
No question about it. That's why the struggles of Justin Wilson are so pronounced, because you thought, man, we have Edwards and Wilson to get the ball to Davis, and Wilson has closed successfully. Boy, we got really nice grouping there. When Justin Wilson can't throw strikes, that's the big problem.
Yeah, it affects. You had a 7, 8, 9. That was your mindset. All right, you can put Carl Edwards in the 7th or the 8th inning, and situationally, Justin Wilson, whatever matches up there, and then, Wade Davis in the 9th. Now you have to scramble in the 6th, 7th inning to, now it's all matchups.
Plus, he's leaving you dirty innings with all the walks.
Exactly.
All right, Brian Dunsing has been quite a surprise out of the pen as well. This is a guy who came from Minnesota. He was a solid pitcher, but there was something that the Cubs, Theo and Jed, saw in him that they really liked. Boy, he stepped up.
Yeah, the thing with him is this year he's kept the ball down in the zone. That fastball was down, and he's able to work its off speed off that fastball. So it's not about throwing mid-90s. He throws like 91, 92, but he's able to spot it where he wants to, move it in and out of the zone. So that's when he's going good, to be able to put it where he wants to and keep him off balance.
Yeah, he is a guy who a lot of teams in baseball, because he'll be a free agent, are going to go, hey, you staying in Chicago? Because if not, come on over. We got money for you. There's still plenty more coming your way on this postseason edition of Cubs Pregame Live, presented by the Fields Auto Group. Up next, look at the men who will be calling the shots in this one. Dusty Baker, Joe Madden.
The obesity amongst kids is very widespread. Some of these babies, they can't even run. It is heartbreaking to me.
Sugared soda is contributing to an epidemic of childhood obesity and diabetes.
These kids are facing adult problems. Around the church, you ought to see the dialysis centers that are popping up. The soda companies are targeting these kids, and we need to protect them. I can minister to these kids, but I can't cure them. The soda pop tax is the right thing to do.
It's a scary time of year. Just wait until you get your heating bill. Call Feldco to replace your drafty old windows.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Right now at Feldco, get 2 windows for the price of 1, with no money down and no interest until 2019.
2 windows for the price of 1 ends soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Water pooling. Window wells overflowing. Concrete sinking. Aging sump pumps. The perfect recipe for a wet basement. We've protected thousands of homes all over Chicagoland and can give you the comfort of a dry basement. Schedule your free consultation today at uswaterproofing.com. US Waterproofing. A better basement starts with us.
I like it sweet.
I like it hot.
Red gravy.
Baptize it.
Make it cheesy.
Make it hurt.
North side.
South side.
There's one thing
both sides agree on.
Bona beef.
Bona, a Chicago original. The official Italian beef on both sides of town.
At Discount Tire, we know you might need tires for this, or this. No matter where you drive, you can count on us to get the right tires for your needs and your budget. Discount Tire, America's neighborhood tire store.
I promise you, for tonight's game, everybody's going to be ready. It's not going to be about what we did last week or even 2 days ago. It's going to be about tonight. So if you have rested bodies, rested minds, and guys are good, I don't think it really matters if you have to go down to the last game or not. We did that with the Rays, and we didn't make it out of the first round. You beat yourself up a little bit doing that kind of stuff, too.
Welcome back to Cubs Pregame Live, presented by our friends at the Fields Auto Group. Madden versus Dusty. Okay, Joe Madden has a World Series. Dusty does not. Dusty said today to Bob Nightingale of USA Today, I know I'm going to get 1. In fact, I'm not going to get 1. Then I'm going to get 2. And they also asked him, does he harbor any, bitterness or extra motivation to beat the Cubs? And he was open. Yes, Yes, I do. I don't understand that. That's 10 years ago. Why is that?
There's people hold grudges, and that's him holding a grudge right now, and he just wants to beat the Cubs bad and get to that next level. And to be a next level coach, you got to win a World Series. He doesn't have that jewelry yet, so he wants to win it.
You look at Dusty, he gets booed when he comes to Chicago. They've kind of gotten over it, but I can guarantee you Monday at Wrigley, whether this series is 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2, he is going to get booed when he steps out of that dugout.
Oh, for sure. Chicago, you're a visitor, you're going to get booed, and it doesn't matter what you've done for your team that you've been on. If you were a Cubby, they're going to get on you.
And especially the way things ended 0-3, 4, 5, 6 when he was here, there are still people that hold him, false as it may be, responsible that team never won.
Yes, then they're going to hold that grudge. So the fans are going to try and manipulate Dusty Baker too. If we can get him riled up, maybe he can make a bad move. And just it's the way that the Cubs fans do it.
You know, the amazing thing is, so they're going to get all over Dusty. They still get on Joe because they don't like how he managed Game 7 and the Cubs won.
It's unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable. What's it, 300 wins the last
So he won 97, 103, and 92. So he's just under 300 wins. He's gone to the NLCS, won the World Series, and has it back in the postseason. And yet there are people out there that still criticize this guy.
Unbelievable. It's what else can you do?
Right.
You changed an organization. And you brought the championship, 108 years, haven't brought a World Series championship and brought it back, and there's still people. That shows you how the world is today. People are always going to find the faults in what you do.
Yeah, they do. They want to criticize and nitpick and critique, and it is what it is, but he's handled it like a pro. Okay, let's have the discussion. Ian Happ will begin tonight's contest on the bench. This season, he was the 6th Cubs rookie that hit 20 or more home runs in a single season. Let's talk about Ian Happ because he is a guy who gives you pop off the bench, but he does not have any experience playing at this type of leverage. How hard will this be to be ready to go?
You know, it's going to be tough because you're going to be sitting the whole time, and then you're going to have to face a Ryan Madsen, a Sean Doolittle in a pressure-packed situation. So, but he has that mentality of nothing ever riles him up. So it feels like he's the type of guy that will work well in the postseason situations.
Well, we'll see how things work out for him. He will be a guy you might see him in the lineup maybe when they get back to Wrigley. Stay tuned. We're coming back to wrap up this Game 1 edition of Cubs Pregame Live presented by the Fields Auto Group. When we return, David's keys to the game. We'll pick our key performers, Cubs and the Washington Nationals. Get ready to battle in the National League Divisional Series Game 1.
This is more than a bundle. This is more than a combo deal. It's your sanctuary, your home court. It's where everything happens. This is your home, your car, your memories. And you want to be sure they're protected with home and auto insurance. As your State Farm agent, I get it. It's why I'm here.
Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Now, legendary BMW performance for less than you think when you buy or lease a certified pre-owned BMW at Canals BMW. With special offers on a great selection of BMW models, each one passing a rigorous certification process and backed by a protection plan for ultimate peace of mind. Our certified pre-owned BMW sales event is here at Canals BMW, Route 41, Lake Bluff.
I'm Ryan Sandberg, and I've played baseball in the great city of Chicago for 17 seasons. Back in the day, I had a lot of hair, and it got to the point where I didn't look like any of those pictures that the fans were bringing up to me. I didn't look like myself in the 80s and the 90s. Didn't know that there was any options. I just went into the office, took it easy. It was like just being at home, and Restore did all the work. The procedure that Restore does, taking hair from the back, put it in the front, no pain whatsoever, and it's my own hair. I think having hair has totally regained my confidence. It gives me energy, makes me feel younger. Go to Restore, have a consultation, check it out for yourself. I'm Ryan Sandberg, and I chose Restore.
Call Restore today for your free consultation and get a $500 discount. It may be the first step that changes your life forever. Call 1-800-823-9239 or visit restorehair.com.
Cubs offense really heated up in the second half. Take a look at the numbers. I mean, you see 43 and 45. They're struggling. Look after the break. Second best record in baseball. Only the Indians, who won 22 straight at one point, were better. Run differential before the break, 0. That was a 13 rank in all of baseball. Plus 127. That's the second best to the Indians, again, in all of baseball. Runs per game, up to 5.72. Home runs per game. You look at the on-base percentage, number 1 in the game. Slug, 4th. Batting average, 2nd. I mean, all the numbers, even home runs a game, top 6. That's your worst rank of any of them. So this was a team that needed that all-star break, needed to take that deep breath, and really played well.
And also, I think it was the pitchers. It seemed like the offense was always down 2-0, 3-0 in the first inning.
Right.
So in the second half, pitchers started pitching well. They were able to get runs early and often in the second half.
All right. Time for the results of our fan poll. We asked you which part of the game is the most important in your opinion. And the way you voted, bullpen's 57% ends up at 54, so bullpen wins it. Nice. We both wanted starting pitching. David also made a case for the offense, but you guys are all going bullpen, guys and gals out there, with over 200,000 votes. It's the people have spoken.
Good job,
all right, guys. Time for David's keys to the game, brought to you by the Fields Auto Group. And we'll start with, you say you got to get them early.
In Strasburg, he gets better as the game goes on. So the offense has to get early runs. Wouldn't it be great to see 2-0, 3-0 in the first inning against him? And then you can start that. Then the Nationals will start pressing a little bit. When you're losing early, start pressing.
Oh, boy, we got to get a run, guys.
Yeah, get them early.
All right, so get them early and see if you can put something on, and then 3 or more.
All right, so this one's pretty cool. The Nationals are 1-3 when Strasburg gets 2 or less runs in support. So, and they're 14-1 when he gets 3 or more runs in support. So if Kyle can keep them in that 2 number, 2 or below, it seems like numbers-wise, the Cubs have a great chance of winning this game.
Yeah, even with an elite pitcher, he needs some runs to be able to settle back in and pitch. We'll see. All right, time for us to pick our key performers. We ended up dead even for the season. I am going to pick Kyle Schwarber. Mr. Schwarbtober, I'm going to go with him.
Well, I'm going to go with last year's World Series MVP, Ben Zobrist. He's healthy. He's ready to get going. Batting leadoff. Nice 5 at-bats today. Let's go, Zo.
All right, we've got about a minute. Before we get out of here, you played in the postseason. At this moment, right now, you're about to take the field.
Yeah.
Butterflies, nervous, or no, ready to go?
Right now, I'm just going through my routine. I'm going out there, running out there, get my stretch on. Once that Star-Spangled Banner starts going, that's when the nerves start kicking in. But once that first pitch is thrown, it's another game.
And you don't really feel it.
Don't feel it.
But it's that probably 3, 4, 5 minute period where, oh boy.
You get your announced, you're running out, you're seeing the fans, you're seeing the towels getting twirled. It's a fun time of year.
All right, we'll be back with the post-game show. So when the game ends, flip right back here. We'll get you set. Thanks for watching. Cubs Pregame Live, presented by the Fields Auto Group. Be sure to switch back after the final out. We'll be here for what we hope is a happy post-game, break down all the action. Have a great one. We'll see you.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, inviting you to become a member of the Fields family. You also get our free loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
All of it. I've used all the above. It's amazing. The service is phenomenal.
And with more than 35,000 vehicles sold annually, you can get a great offer like this.
And now lease a new 2017 BMW X3 xDrive 28i for only $419 per month at Fields BMW Northfield.
And Fields matters because you matter.
Fields BMW Northfield. FieldsBMWNorthfield.com.
This is the original light beer. And 40 years later, we still brew it the same way. Because when you get something right, you don't mess with it. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Your official Rolex jeweler is James & Sons in Chicago, Orland Park, and Cherville.
This Cubs injury report is brought to you by ATI Physical Therapy, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Ask your doctor about ATI Physical Therapy. Get there.
This is more than a bundle. This is more than a combo deal. It's your sanctuary, your home court. It's where everything happens. This is your home, your car, your memories. And you want to be sure they're protected with home and auto insurance. As your State Farm agent, I get it. It's why I'm here.
Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Water pooling. Window wells overflowing. Concrete sinking. Aging sump pumps. The perfect recipe for a wet basement. We've protected thousands of homes all over Chicagoland and can give you the comfort of a dry basement. Schedule your free consultation today at uswaterproofing.com. US Waterproofing. A better basement starts with us.
All right, so maybe the Blackhawks are going to be pretty good. The defending champs come to town, and the Hawks dropped a 10 spot on them. Brandon Saad marked his return with a hat trick. So are the Hawks back to being one of the best in the league? And we are 3 days away from the beginning of the Mitchell Trubisky era. But how will he handle a fierce Vikings D under the Monday night lights? That and a whole lot more coming up on Sports Talk Live. Hey there, welcome to Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. Chuck Arfine in for David Kaplan, who's in Cubsville right now. Let's meet the panel for today's show. From SB Nation, Jason Gotch. Where is he? He's right over here. Bleacher Report and the Big Ten Unfiltered podcast, he is Seth Gruen. And from WGN Radio and the Chicken Dinner podcast, which I promise I'm going to listen to.
Nice.
Sam Panayotovich. Okay, let's begin with the Bulls, who continue their preseason. The first preseason home game is tonight against Milwaukee. You can see it right here on NBC Sports Chicago at the top of the hour. And with more on the game, let's go live to the United Center and talk to my buddy, my pal, Vincent Goodwill, our Bulls insider. Okay, Vinny, we've seen two different games from the Bulls, a great comeback win against New Orleans, and then they lost by 47 to Dallas. Who are these Bulls, and what can fans expect in the first year of this rebuild?
They're both of those teams, Chuck. They're the team that can maybe get hot from three-point range, play together, and shock you on the night. And they're also a team that can give up 40,